First and foremost, Black Lives Matter. Right now, we need to listen to those who have been targeted by this system and amplify their struggle and their voices. We have listed resources and donation links in the description below. Thank you. Cryptozoology is, by its very nature, elusive. Thus, we cannot say that we are exactly bringing you the facts, but we will do our best to help you see these mythical legends as we do. So sit back, relax, and wait. What's that behind you? Never mind. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptids on Cryptids. I'm Martin,
I'm Sid.
and this
And
is
it's-
our 8th episode. What are we talking about today, Sid?
Well, today we're gonna get Kraken. We're talking about the Kraken today. And I mean, I'm sure y'all know it's a sea monster. You see it a lot. It originates in Nordic countries, Scandinavian origin. I'm thinking specifically. But it's not what you'd think. So I don't know, Martin, if you remember from our stream last week, where we
Yes.
went back and we fought the Kraken in Wizard
on
101.
Wizard 101. Yeah.
Yes. Our stream is every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. if you'd like to come hang out. Shameless
Twitch.tv
plug.
/ the midcast. I'm
Yes,
not
please
ashamed
come
of
join
it.
us.
You shouldn't be either.
But we fought the Kraken, and I was like, alright, I'm assuming the Kraken is humanoid based on the pictures I'm seeing here. It's not. It's like a big octopus, like really, really big.
Like
real big.
I always thought it was like a big squid.
Yeah, you get like
Is it a squid
Either
or is
you
it an
get
octopus? Or is it both?
you get both. You
Oh.
get both. Because,
Oh.
like, the big thing about octopus is it's got 8 legs. But, like, the Kraken, specifically, they're like, it's got tentacles. It's got lots of them. And they won't tell you how many it has. They're just, like, lots of them.
Infinite.
Infinite.
All
many
of the
tentacles.
so many tentacles, can't count them on one hand.
All of them.
But you
Can't
can
do it.
count them. You can, however, count them on all the tentacles the Kraken has.
I would imagine.
I mean, it'd
I
be the
would
perfect
imagine.
number.
Yeah.
You'd
I
get
mean,
it every
I think
time.
that's how math works. Yeah. But, speaking of math, when I said big, it's like 40 to 50 feet long.
Oh!
Like, it's, yeah, like boat big. Like, real big.
Oh. Like, real big. Okay.
Like, real big.
Because, like,
and-
aren't giant squid, like, 30?
Yeah.
Aren't they, like, 30 feet long? With
Roughly.
tentacles?
With tentacles.
Oh, man.
This thing is like 40, 50 feet long without tentacles. That's just the body of the thing.
This is one thick lad.
Absolute unit. Unfortunately, that does leave me... I don't like the ocean. I'm not a person who's real keen on, like, water I can't see through. Don't like it. It's weird. I can't swim real well. Don't like it.
Mm.
But have you ever seen the eyes of an octopus?
Yes.
Like,
They remind me of goat eyes a lot.
yeah, they don't focus on a thing. They just kind of like roll around like little orbs that are just hanging out.
Yes.
And they are weirdly judgmental. Like, you look at a
Yes.
goat and you know, like, that goat has plans. You don't know what they are, but it's got them. Octopus, same energy. Don't like it.
I feel like the goat doesn't necessarily have plans, but there certainly is malice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely, like, a general directed hatred from a goat's eyes.
Yeah.
But from an octopus, it's like, you know it can plan it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got
Like,
a little bit more intelligence coming into it.
mm-hmm. And they are intelligent creatures. Like, octopi have opinions. And they want you to know that they have opinions.
Yeah.
Like, I have friends who work at aquariums, and they tell me that, like, certain animals, you know, like you got manta rays and the little cute little touch pools, and you can play with a manta ray and it's cute and all that. They recognize you and they come up for food. Octopi, if they don't like the food that you've given them, they'll throw it at you. Like they'll take one of their weird little tentacles and just launch it at you. So they know that you've given them something they don't like, and they like know that it's you. You know, like there's
Yeah,
judgment
it's like
and
crows.
hatred. Yeah, crows are nice though. I like
Crows are
crows.
cool though. Octopi,
Corvids are cool.
I don't know. Like sea creatures, you know, you're like, I don't like the ocean, and I like the top of the ocean. I like being on boats. I like being out there. I can swim pretty well. I hate the deep ocean. Man,
Mm.
fuck that.
I don't know what's in there. Like, you don't know what's. Nobody knows what's in there. We know more about space than we know about the ocean, and I'm not comfy with that. Until you can list me the animals that live down there, I don't want it.
I mean,
I don't.
Yeah, Sid, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like everything I've learned that lives in the ocean, I feel worse about it. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm happier not knowing.
Yeah. The less I know about the ocean, the better.
The better.
Because, like,
for sure.
The deeper you go, the weirder the thing gets.
Okay.
Because, like,
yeah,
we haven't found anything in space. The only thing out there that we know of so far is A, I believe there are aliens somewhere. B, like, weird radiation and things.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it be.
That's just star stuff, you know? It's just star
it's just
stuff.
like space gunk. That's okay. Like, space gunk is gonna be like that.
Space gunk, I'm fine.
As soon as you leave the atmosphere, all bets are off. It just be how it be. The ocean? That means, like, stuff adapted to live there. Like, this thing wanted to survive so bad, it got weird teeth and, like, bioluminescence. And I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you ever heard of, oarfish?
Yeah, I play Animal Crossing. I've seen those terrifying things.
Yeah, so
No.
they're real creatures, and they get, stupidly big.
Real big. It's not even, like, okay.
And they're not
You
even,
look at
like,
a blue
threatening
whale.
fish. You know what I mean?
No.
But they're
They're
threatening fish that are that size. And it's like, stop that, ocean. I've had enough.
I think the main thing that concerns me is an oarfish isn't threatening, which means whatever is threatening has to be bigger than an oarfish.
Yes.
Because that means the oarfish is prey. And I don't like that. No thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The only thing I have over fish is I know I probably have more bones than them. That's it. That's my only comfort. Because, like, I've got more bones than a shark. They're mostly cartilage. Like, I'm not scared of that. You could bend that. That's an ear, you know? It swims. But then I hear that sharks live in volcanoes, and I am much less okay with that.
Yeah, I don't like that either, actually.
No.
Yeah. The oarfish actually is related to another cryptid that we might talk about on the show, so that's exciting. But I do want to talk about cryptids. This one, the Kraken.
Yes. So I think the reason why we had to take that little detour through weird ocean and creature land is because there are multiple of these things, which implies that there's a species of them, that they just live and exist in the world, like as a thing that they do.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So...
horrific, but fascinating.
Terrifying. No, thank you. So, there are many, many, like, pictures of this thing. Because, like, people... Whenever somebody's like, oh, I saw this, like, creature, people want to draw it. They want to see what that thing looks like through the description somebody else has given.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time when we get a description on a creature, it's like, oh, it's, like, big. And it's, like, you just get very vague sort of notions of this thing. You get horns, you get teeth, you get claws, you get that.
Yeah, the standards.
Yeah. But, like, when this thing was seen, it was seen, I think the first sighting is around 1250.
1250. AM or PM?
1250. Year. AD.
Okay.
AD. And it goes through, like, this, they don't know who wrote it, but it's like a weirdly specific description of the species, how they eat, like where they're seen,
Hmm.
that they're seen like all about the Greenland Sea, and that there's at least two of them because there are babies, and that's all we've got. And it's
Fascinating.
like,
Wait, actually,
yeah.
that's so
So
cool.
they're, yeah. I mean, it is really cool, but that means there's enough of them so that like they've been seen regularly, like at least regularly enough by a specific community that they wrote it down in a book, and they're like, "Hey, the ocean has these weird things in it. Just letting you know."
Yeah. Hey guys. So I just got back from the ocean. You know, the big blue one. Uh, so you know how we thought animals on land were kind of bad? Like there's bears and well, bears mostly and wolves. Uh,
Yeah.
but those are like human-sized and or smaller. These things are so you know like our house. You know like our house. Like
Where we live,
yeah,
you
where
know.
we live, you know, we built it to be bigger than us. You know like that?
Mm-hmm.
6 times that.
Yeah.
Plus tentacles. Terrifying.
Like
I don't understand how people could like see that and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go back out on this ocean." That's cool.
I I would never go again. Like if I even catch wind of that thing, I'm like absolutely not, never again. Because like fun fact about this thing, um we know it's got teeth. It eats meat.
Yeah,
We know that.
that's what I was going to ask is what does it eat according to this thing?
Meat,
Meat?
like a tremendous amount. Because
It would have to.
they were like,
It's
yes,
five,
we
six
see
times
them.
times this guy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's big enough so that it would have to eat meat to power it.
Yeah.
Um,
To power it.
like you gotta power it. That's how that
Yeah.
works. They've never seen a dead one. In this like first recollection of it, they're like, we've never seen it dead, but that it like it is bigger than a whale, and it eats fish because like okay, we're gonna get real gross for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know that like an octopus's mouth is in that weird section in between all the tentacles, and it has the horrifying teeth in it. You've seen that.
Mm-hmm. They have
Yeah.
like a beak, kind of.
They have like the weird little beak little nubbin that lives in there. Yes. And that when they feed, they grab things with the tentacles and then just put it in the mouth.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. They do that with like anything in the water. They just see if they can crunch it.
Oh.
Including, but not limited to, like, according to this, whales and fish.
Whales.
And it like whales, like small whales.
Oh. Oh no.
Because like a beluga whale isn't super big.
Yeah.
Like it's big compared to a human, but like compared to a 40 to 50 foot long body size, yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, that thing will go right in.
It'll go right in. So it's like
Oh, this? A whale? I can crunch that.
I can crunch that
Easy.
because they don't know how much it eats. It just says that they do, and that it like the little beak thing that lives on the inside extends out of the creature and just starts crunching. Like the tentacles grab everything in the area and like go into the beak, like just that big scooping motion, and it just goes like as much as it can.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then it burps. That is mentioned at least 3 times.
Really, that it does specifically burp.
Yeah. That it makes a sound that sounds like a burp because it like okay, so this thing makes the motion and eats everything in the area, and then it chews it up and spits it back out into the water to get like bigger things to come to it.
Oh wow. So these things have like not only do they just eat, they also have like a concept of actively like chumming the water to fish.
Yes, like this is a predatory animal actively.
Whoa, that's so cool, actually.
Cause yeah, so it burps up the food so that all the fish come by and will like go and eat the food,
Hmm.
and then it just like opens the mouth and like just like Kirby, I'm assuming, just sucks it in, like everything in the area.
I'm curious, does it get the powers of everything that it's sucked in like Kirby does?
I hope not.
Because it
Emotionally.
kind of seems like it does, right? Because it's like this squid-like animal with octopus tentacles and octopus beak, but also its jaw comes out like a
Amore.
moray. Yeah, and
No,
also big
I'll
like whale.
actually I'll follow you through on this one. This seems plausible.
I maybe Kirby was not a figment of imagination, but based on this creature. And if you've seen that Brian David Gilbert unravels Kirby
I
video,
have.
um,
Yeah.
so hold on, how to say this? He said that Kirby was an immortal being, far more powerful than God. Um, and I get that that was for comedy, but they said that they'd never seen a dead Kraken, so maybe they are immortal, and maybe more powerful
Here's
than God.
I would I would believe you. I got another fun tidbit for you. Two concepts actually, one before the other. The first is some sea creatures you know are technically immortal
Yes,
because they can't die unless they're actively killed and nothing's evolved to kill them yet. So they're just vibing.
like
Uh
jellyfish.
yeah, jellyfish and some sharks will do that.
Hmm.
Also some crabs. Like it'll just
Yeah,
happen. Like the ocean has
lobsters.
just made things that can't die unless they're killed,
Yes.
which is horrifying.
There's
Uh
also like, okay, fun fact about the ocean now. Um,
yeah.
there's a theory going around that crab is like the ultimate form of ocean animal because they are immortal.
Yeah.
Um, almost all crustaceans that live in the sea evolve to be crab-like, like
Mhm.
all of them.
Yeah.
Um, and even if they're not specifically crab-like, they start forming more crab-like features, um, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, because it was that thing where it was evolution tried to make crabs 4 times. Like things would happen, the species would get wiped out, and they would just make them again.
Yes,
Because it's like the most efficient way a sea creature could be.
the cycle of crab. Yes,
Yes, crab cycle. The Krebs cycle, but it's for crabs. The
crab
crab
cycle.
cycle.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I know that theory.
Uh, yeah. No.
I just thought it'd be fun
Crab
to
theory.
share it.
Crab theory.
Crab theory.
Yeah. Crab theory. Um. Statement though.
Uh-huh.
Consider this.
Yeah.
You talked about Kirby and the Kraken being very similar.
Mm-hmm.
They've never seen a baby Kraken. Maybe Kirby, baby Kraken.
Maybe Kirby is a baby Kraken.
No, maybe Kirby's a baby Kraken.
Maybe that's
or
why
like
he's
a
got those
variation on the
shoes.
species.
Maybe that's why he's got those shoes. He's just got all those tentacles in there.
Oh, I don't like that. The shoes are a different color than his body, though, and you could consider that those. You've seen a Dumbo squid, haven't you? They have those little nubbins on the top of their head. It looks similar to like
Yeah.
Kirby's little arms. Maybe his arms or his ears.
Maybe. That
Yeah,
actually would make
and
more
he has
sense
just
to me.
put his
I don't
tentacles in his
understand
shoes.
Kirby, and I'm not going to try to understand Kirby, but I am going to try to understand Krakens.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe they are one and the same.
maybe. And maybe this is the key to understanding Kirby.
That we just had to go into the ocean and see what horrors lie there, and we came out with something that works.
Yeah.
So,
But I do want to know a little
at
bit
first,
more about. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to know a little bit more about these Krakens. Beyond like this 1250, right? That was when it was.
That was the first sighting, yes, where they had made this basically like Kraken handbook, if you will,
Was
explaining
any of
these
this
creatures.
information like reconfirmed since then, or like? Oh,
Yes,
really?
yes. It was confirmed later in the 13th
Ooh,
century, and then again in the 18th century, and then after that in 1802.
wow.
So it has been confirmed multiple times by at least, I think, 4 different locations, which means that whatever this thing is, it's universal. Um, and I don't like
That's
that.
one of the things that
Uh,
always gets me about like cryptid theories. Like some of them, you're like, okay, like like sometimes people are hyping on the bandwagon, like Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like they're just
yeah,
jumping on the bandwagon of this guy saw this creature, and now it's like, but centuries apart, like reconfirmed by separate areas where contact was a lot more limited. You know what I mean? Like that just
yeah,
screams like this shit's
that this is
real.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cause like, so the first sighting was seen in like, believe it is Greenland. Returning from Greenland and then back to Norway. So that is this, like a Scandinavian sort of area. There is Icelandic as well, where there were 2 of them sighted again. They called them sea mist and heatherback, and the heatherback or the sea mist creature is believed to be a reference to the actual kraken itself, because they said they saw 2, and one of them was the largest whale in the world, and the other one was the largest monster in the sea.
Oh.
So
Oh.
the heatherback is the whale, where they're like it's like the biggest whale, which I'm assuming is a blue whale.
Yes.
Because they're like big. And the
I
the sea mist, which is believed to be a reference to the kraken,
mm-hmm.
is direct quote has sent these creatures by means of magic to cause the death of you and all your men.
Oh. Oh. I did for a moment think that you were just gonna leave it at Heather instead of Heather back, and I was like, yeah, Sea Mist and Heather.
Oh my god.
um,
Isn't that a musical? Sea Mist and Heather?
I think it's just Heather's.
It's
Yeah,
Heather's.
there's
Yeah.
just multiple Heather.
Just this just happens to be one of them. No, Heatherback, because they thought it was an island at first, and then it disappeared, and they were like, that can't be right. And it followed their boat for a few days, and they were like, huh.
This is
Interesting.
concerning.
This is a lot.
Hey, we've been moving, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then why is that island not getting any smaller?
It swam underneath their boat, though.
Oh.
Like, they saw it as an island, and they're like, oh, cool, we'll land on that island. And then it just wasn't there anymore, and they saw the eyes of it, and they were like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, they probably saw that the eye was bigger than a man, and promptly shit themselves.
Yeah.
That's what any reasonable person would do in that situation.
I would imagine. Because there's also the fact that these boats aren't going to go real fast, so it's not like a motorboat. You can get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can go.
But
a sailboat isn't quite going to do that.
Yeah, you're
thing,
really dependent on the weather and or rowing, and
the water current's a big one.
Yeah.
And if you got a huge creature that's pushing you forward, you're with them now. Like, you're
got
theirs
you
for the time being. They gotcha.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's something I will, like, if that happened to me, I would be instantly terrified of the ocean. Like those videos of people like on a paddleboard, and there's just like these giant ass whales like around them. You're like, you're dead. You as a person on that paddleboard. You like.
My only comfort is most whales are herbivores. That's my only comfort.
Yeah, most. Not all, but most.
Not all.
And they could accidentally eat you. They
Yeah,
could. They're that big.
it could. They're that big. I mean, orcas eat moose, for heaven's
Yeah,
sake.
that
I don't like that.
that frightens me. That frightens me.
Don't like that. Because A, that means moose can swim well enough to, like, get into an area where orcas
Oh, I
could
know
be.
moose can swim.
And. and as someone who spends at least a fair amount of their time in Canada, moose are big. Like, they're real big.
One time when I was
Like,
up in Maine,
yeah.
I was in a lean-to, and I hear from the camp over a bear horn, and I think, fuck, there's a bear. But the reality was much, much more frightening. Because, I was in the White Mountains, so, it's black bears mostly. Black bears aren't that bad.
No, you just gotta
Yeah,
scream real loud.
hence the bear horn. But this
Yeah.
bear horn, unfortunately, was not directed at a bear, but a moose, and the bear horn frightened the ever-loving shit out of it, and
Yeah.
it went charging at full speed, which I don't know if you've ever seen a moose run at full speed, but they
I
can
have.
keep up with cars going like 30, 40 miles an hour. This thing went charging full speed right past the opening of the lean-to.
Holy
If I
shit.
had been
No.
if I had put my hand out the front of the lean-to, I would have hit this fucking moose. More appropriately, it would have shattered my arm. Because it did hit our picnic table, and just by glancing off of it, this moose did not it left no fur on the table from where it was hit, no blood, no anything. From all accounts, this
Yeah.
moose was undamaged. The table, however, was one of the boards of it was split, and it was launched 5 feet.
Yeah.
Moose are
Yeah.
terrifying.
Moose are terrifying. People forget. Because, a lot of times when you see a deer, you're not super scared. You should be. At least a little bit.
Yeah, but a moose is that, but
a moose
thick.
is that, but, at least times 6. Yeah. 800 pounds of muscle. It's a lot. It's a lot.
But yeah, I mean, then you think
Cloven-hooved animals, man. They'll
You
get
think-
you. They sure
you
will.
think the moose gets eaten by the orca, right? The moose is already a terrifying animal. Gets eaten by orcas. But then, by all accounts, these krakens are eating whales, like orcas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that power ranking does
Yeah.
really actually remind me of something, Sid. And you know what that
Yeah?
is? MetaZoo
What is that?
games. It's
That's right.
time, guys, for us to talk about our favorite partner of the show, MetaZoo Games. They are a cryptid-based card game that is honestly one of the coolest concepts I've seen in gaming in so long. It's rooted in creatures that they call beasties, spells, and artifacts. And the first set that they're launching after their Kickstarter will include USA-based cryptids like Bigfoot, which is a hoax, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, the Ozark Howler, which we talked about last week, and a bunch of others. So what really sets MetaZoo apart is that it has this kind of concept of breaking the fourth wall, where weather is a factor in the gameplay, which is really cool. I think this stuff is it sets up so many interesting concepts. If you're playing and it's snowing outside, your snow beasts get a boost. Or if you're by an open fire, your fire beasts get a boost. The environment that you play in gives you a boost. That's so cool. Like, we've talked about this before where you're like, what if I just wait for a day that it rains? And then I invite all my friends over to teach them this cool new card game. I'm going to win because I have the
See,
advantage with my water-based deck. What were you saying, Sid?
there is that. I was about to ask a quick
Yeah.
question. So, you said if it
Mhm.
rained, you would get a boost to your beasties. But consider this. So, say you're playing with a water-based
Mhm.
deck and you're near some type of lake or river or let's say ocean. Imagine. I assume if you go over there, you would get a boost to your water creatures.
Yes.
Yes. Consider this. You bring your monsters out onto the boat and you play there, and then you don't have to wait for rain. You just move near a lake, and then the source is constantly there.
Or like
Got
a
that going
tournament
for you.
on board a ship, like a cruise.
That.
Might be really
Yes.
interesting.
Ooh, that would be very effective.
Yeah.
I do ask that because I'm like, consider you're playing out on the open ocean, and you get an unwelcome intrusion by one of our creatures.
By the Kraken.
You summon one accidentally.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool concept that really, like, you have to have a deck that, like, you find the environment that suits your deck, or you build a deck that suits your environment, which, I don't know. I think that's such a cool concept, and I honestly think MetaZoo Games is one of the coolest new things. Their Kickstarter is going live July 30th, at the end of the
Yes.
month. So make sure you go there. You can follow them right now if you search Kickstarter/MetaZoo on Google, or if you like look up MetaZoo Games Kickstarter, you will find them, and we will link them in the description below. I think this is a really cool thing. I'm already supporting them, and I think you guys should too.
Yeah. And also, the art
The
is
art is
incredible.
so good.
It is.
We shared their
Yeah.
art for the Ozark Howler last week. And oh my god, it's incredible.
I do have an amazing team of artists working on that.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that's
so
so
like,
cool.
yeah, go follow them. Go follow MetaZoo. We'll link them in our description below. Definitely, this is something to support. I'm really hype on it, and I think other people should be too.
I'm
For sure.
excited.
For sure.
Yeah. I do fear the one thing is if you choose to play an environment and you summon the creature and it just kind of shows up and he's just
Yeah.
hanging
What if
out.
you do?
Like, what if you do? What if that's a side effect they don't know about yet? The art is so good. The creature comes out and he's like, "Shit, how'd you get a picture?"
Let's get a
You know?
picture. Hey guys.
How'd you get a picture of me?
I guess it's kind of like a cool new spectator or a new challenger. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you fight him? Does he get his own deck? Does he have to bring it, or does he fight with his stats? That's the real question.
Interesting. Does he fight with his card stats?
Yeah, if you summon him, does he count as, like, a card? Well, like, I'm assuming he's a player. Like, he showed up to hang out with you. But, like, does he use his stats in battle? Does he get a boost because he's physically there?
I think if the cryptid
Like,
shows up, you just win. You win the game.
if you summon the cryptid on your
Not
deck,
just
like,
you win this
you
match
win.
that you're
That's
playing,
it.
but you win MetaZoo card game completely. It's just forever.
You win it.
You
That's
are
it.
the victor.
You win. Just knocks on your door. Hi, heard you guys were...
Yeah, the only one you'll know
Heard you guys
is
were
if like
playing,
like if Bigfoot shows up at your door. You're like, okay, this is a hoax. Take your mask off. You're just
Yeah,
trying to
Bigfoot's
win
not
the
real.
game right now, and I know.
But, like, if the Jersey Devil himself flies down out of the Pine Barrens, I'm feeling like you should get a boost.
Yeah, you
you
just
win.
You-
You win. You win. The back
Yes,
to
I do want to know
our
more
terrifying
about
sea
this terrifying
creature.
creature. I think we've talked really generally about the terrifying sea, but I do want to know what makes the Kraken so terrifying. Are there any like accounts or sightings that have like, I don't know, like it seems like a really horrific creature, and I feel like there's some really horrifying stories out there.
Yeah. The biggest one is that people have been eaten by this thing.
Fun.
So the accounts tend to be a little varied because some people don't survive.
Some people just get crunched.
They just get crunched. Because it's like, so
Coming to you live from the
a
cryptid
lot of these
crunching.
accounts.
Today, the Kraken.
Yeah, no.
It got Dave. Sorry, Dave.
That sucks, Dave. Damn. Someone should go let his family know. But that's like a thing that happened though. Like, so it is seen mostly in like, it was written in the first attempt at a natural history of Norway as like the creature is mistaken for an island. Like, it is recorded in books as like a thing that you should like know about or be worried about. Not like a road hazard, but they're like, hey, terrifying thing exists in the ocean. Like,
Yeah,
let
like
me
I
know.
feel like if they could post, you know, those like moose crossing signs or like bear crossing or like bear territory,
Yeah,
then like I feel like
yeah,
they'd post those in the ocean if they could. Um, I feel like
yeah,
that's kind of the general vibe of this account
yeah.
mastery handbook thing. It's like,
I can't even tell if it was like a lackadaisical, like, look at dying almost. Like, it was just a thing that happened to people sometimes. Because, like, this thing ate people. We know it did. Like, it's wrecked ships and, like, destroyed tons of things. And the approach is just generally kind of like, yeah, it's
yeah, it's
there.
like, you
This
know,
is what
back
it
in the
does.
1800s, it's like, you know, polio, just generally accepted as part of life. Uh, there's also just general sickness, big storms, they'll get you. The Kraken, that one will get you. Just drowning, just straight up drowning, that one will get you. The Kraken again, just because it's so big, dude. It'll get you. It really will. Crunch is just so good. Orcas, killer whales, yeah, they'll get you. Not as bad as the Kraken though, so just watch out for that one. And yeah, you gotta eat limes, dude. Gotta eat limes. Did you know that they didn't figure out?
Scurvy.
Well, they knew. They knew since the 1500s, but the British Empire didn't implement thing. They knew, right? A doctor figured it out in the 1500s. He was like, "Hey, guys, eat limes for scurvy." Um, and everyone was like, "Ha, okay, idiot." And then it took until 1850s for them to actually implement it in the British Empire to keep their sailors from getting scurvy.
That tracks with about how well everybody implements medical shit
They were
now,
like,
honestly.
300 years? Yeah, sounds about right. We've known, but
Thanks for finally getting around
yeah.
to it, I guess. Good lord. Because, like, this thing was actively creating whirlpools and just destroying things. Because they were like, yeah, you may see what you think is an island. A, it's not. B, it will leave a giant whirlpool, which is what we talked about earlier, is that belching thing. It's not quite burping as they thought in like 1250. It's like it creates the vortex. Like, that's the sucking in thing.
Yeah.
Like, it burps out all the food and then it sucks it in. It creates like a whirlpool.
Yeah, because like,
and we'll just
because fish like inhale water, right, and like get that. That's how they get oxygen. I imagine like, and whales do that with krill, right, where they fill their mouth with, and their mouths are huge. They're like,
yeah, they have the big filter feeders.
So you know, maybe that's how they. That's, you know, probably a pretty effective way of eating. Just inhale the water and everything in it.
Yeah, and just eat, crunch it, I guess.
And 50 feet long, that's a lot of water.
The concept of, like...
Yeah. It's a lot of water.
Yeah. It's a lot of water, dude. There's also my question, like my fear, knowing how digestive systems do their thing, is that if it's consuming, like, basically everything from the seafloor, what does the stomach acid look like? Like, how corrosive is that? If it's getting bones and rocks and, like, whatever.
Yeah, actually. You know, if it's, like, inhaled a ship.
Big concern.
You know?
That's
wood.
That's wood.
And metal.
That's wood and probably at least a little metal.
Probably some metal in there.
Yeah. At least a little bit.
You think maybe the Kraken likes
Not to mention
tea? Because, like, if it's targeting, like, shipping stuff,
It was targeting
fisherman
fishermen's
ships,
ships.
that makes sense. I was gonna say, like,
Yeah,
maybe it likes tea, you know?
it might. That's another option. Yeah, I could see him like bringing in a cargo vessel just to be like, "Hey, this water tastes a little bit different than normal." I imagine that would be a fun surprise.
Hey, this water? Better than your
Like,
average water.
better than normal. I that does like make me wonder about the taste of, because that would be, it's salt water. Like
Yeah.
ocean water is salt water, so that would just be salty tea, which doesn't sound super great, but for a creature who's been vortexing in the same salt water every day,
Oh my
seemingly
god, Sid, is
forever.
that where the word... Is that where the word vor comes from?
No, it is not. I.
Sorry, we just talked about it last week. So I was like, huh.
You had to give me a second. I was experiencing like
Deja vu.
deja. Yeah. This, you know, like a cold shock you get when you see something and you just can. Like the same energy as seeing headlights in a car. That moment.
Yeah. Oops, I just hit my microphone
Oh, no.
and my audio just went red.
You just made what sounded like the bonk sound effect
Yeah,
twice.
I accidentally, so I got like a pitcher full of water so that I can have more water than just a
Yeah.
glass of water, and I accidentally hit my microphone with it. Bonk.
Bonk. Bonk.
Well, now that we've talked about it, I guess
Oh
I have to
my
leave it
God.
in. I was just gonna edit it out, but now that we've talked about it, I guess I have to leave it in.
We talked about it, you have to leave it in. That does. Like, okay, I'm gonna be real. Humans have been doing stupid things since the dawn of time. As far as, like, if there's something to be gained, if it's dangerous, they're still gonna do it anyway.
Like
Like, they're
whale
gonna try
hunting.
it. You'll have people climbing mountains. Yeah, until there are no more mountains to be climbed. Hunting, yeah, definitely. People just out there doing stupid things for rewards. But that leads to this. So I said it was fishing vessels that were getting eaten mostly, because
They want that fish.
you know, like it vomits the thing out and it attracts all the fish to the Kraken, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So people were like finding them to park their boats over them to fish the fish the Kraken like attracted because it was like a better haul. So they would find them and follow them and like attempt to fish, even though this thing would like whirlpool them in and like crunch them too.
Wow.
Yeah. So they would do
Yeah,
that.
I imagine like, I mean, that's literally like just stealing the food right off the Kraken's dinner plate. You know what I mean? That's
It is, yeah, which is
thievery,
very
and
rude.
it is very rude. So, yeah, I mean, by all rights, crunch them, I guess.
Yeah, my main thing is like people would do it so often that there was like an actual saying, you must have fished on Kraken. Like if somebody brought in a huge haul, they'd be like, "Oh, you went out and found one of those things and just fished near it."
Interesting. Do you think maybe they were also referring to crack cocaine?
I don't know because this is in 1752.
Yeah, and crack was in like Tylenol.
No.
It was prevalent. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's where the Kraken got its name. They were like, you fished on crack because you got all of them. But then they were like, no, it's a giant beastie. And they were like, okay.
That's possible, yeah. I mean, I could understand that being an option as far as like maybe it gave them the energy to keep going and doing the thing. But like, part of me then wonders if there were so many fish and these boats were getting attracted to the fish, maybe the Kraken's playing the long con and like seeing if they can get people. You know?
Maybe they figured out like, man, this water does taste different because it's got that tea in it. Because they accidentally ate like a tea ship.
Yeah.
Trying to get it again.
To get it again.
Maybe they're looking for that tea fix.
It's like, yeah. Or it could be like, you know how some animals have like evolved to live with people
Yeah.
to a certain extent? Like you got pigeons and like things like that. Yeah. Maybe the Kraken's trying to do something like that, but like people are,
Yeah.
you know, like prey animals sort of set up where they're like, oh yeah, these ships tend to be crunchier than normal. Like that's got more crunch
Yeah, it's got
power in it.
all the
Let's see if
fish
we can get some
and
more of those.
crew and whatever they hauled up before they fished the Kraken spot. So
Maybe it's like a hot pocket for the Kraken. It's crunchy on the outside.
crunchy
Like
on the outside, fishy on the inside, just like Hot Pockets.
fishy on the inside. Oh, you should check your hot pocket if it tastes fishy on the inside.
I've never had
I
a
feel
Hot Pocket, and I won't.
You haven't? I haven't had like a hot pocket, like a branded hot pocket, but I've had like pizza rolls, and I imagine it's roughly the
I've
same
had
experience.
Totino's pizza rolls, and those are great.
I do love
like,
pizza rolls.
They're smaller than Hot Pockets, but I assume it's generally the same.
Yeah, like I imagine it's roughly the same experience. That you bite into it, it burns the shit out of your tongue, and then you move on.
Yes. Although the Krakens don't have microwaves, so that'd be a little rough. It's like eating a cold Hot Pocket.
No, it is the ocean though, so I think everything this thing eats would be at least a little cold.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Also, no evidence of this thing having a tongue. So
yeah, maybe they don't give a shit.
I don't know if like.
Maybe they don't care that it tastes like wood.
I mean, I'm thinking it's like a texture, like it's just crunchier than most. So they're like, yeah, I got crunch power. Let's go.
Love crunch.
Like,
gotta get me that crunch.
Get me that crunch though. It just pulls in the ship and just crunches all of them. They have seen, because at first they were like, again, we did mention earlier that it was like they hadn't seen babies or dead ones, but like also, if they can't die unless they are killed, that means nothing's killed them yet. So they did think that they found a specimen of like perhaps like a younger one, or like one that was a little stupid, that washed ashore and died at, I'm assuming it's Alstahaug in 1680. I probably butchered that, but they think they found one at a beach at one point, like a baby or a younger one that washed ashore and died there, like suffocated on the land.
Interesting.
So they think that like it can die, but it's probably like won't die unless it's killed, and that there are babies, so that these things do reproduce, and that it is a species of
Interesting. That's really cool that it's like a species, because I don't think we've talked about a cryptid that could be a species since Chupacabra. Good old goatsuck.
We thought good old goatsuck, but we did think that the Loch Ness Monster may have been a species.
Yes, sea monsters in general could be a species. And I think there's definitely like a lot of potential for that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you've really stumped me here, because I think this is the only creature that I can definitively say is probably not a bird.
Yes, we've done it. It's a victory. You put that in the corner. I've got 1 out of like 7.
Because birds don't live in the, like, they live at the top of the ocean, and I feel like if a bird went into the ocean, it'd be bad.
See.
And these things don't seem like modern dinosaurs either, so we can't get that like equivalence theory going again.
No.
I don't think these can be birds, Sid. I think these are just genuinely terrifying sea monsters.
May I present?
Go for it.
Bird theory?
Okay. A flip.
Because usually when I do the research for this episode...
You've thrown the table at me.
Or they research for
You've
any
not
episode,
just flipped it. You threw it at me.
Usually when I go... I did just throw the table at you. I am so sorry to you and our audience who deal with this every week.
You've thrown the table at me and then followed it up with a gauntlet, Sid.
When when I do the research, I tend to like look at the creature and I'm like, how are you going
Wait,
to make this
no,
bird
wait,
theory?
Sid,
Like,
I
how are
got it.
you
I got
or
it.
the
I
audience
got it. Nope,
gonna
Sid,
make
I
this
got
bird
it.
theory?
They got a beak.
Are you following me?
They got a beak.
They got a beak.
But
They got a beak.
octopi have a beak.
They got a
So,
beak.
like, that's just kind of how I was thinking, is like, octopi have a beak. It's not like a bird beak. But what if it is a bird beak, Sid?
What if it is a bird beak? Follow me through this. Do you know what? You said that most birds don't live in water, but there is a bird that lives in water. That lives specifically in colder waters, like where this kraken
Did
has
you
been
research
found.
this?
Yes.
The bird?
Penguins.
Penguin.
Penguins.
Oh my god.
Penguins. Now,
Oh
of
my
course, you need to
God.
do some major modifications to a penguin.
Okay, no,
But
no. Hear me out,
if-
Sid. Hear me out. This
Hearing
isn't
you out.
one
Hearing you out.
animal. It's two. It is a
Two?
penguin that lives with a symbiotic relationship with a giant squid. Big
I'm
penguin,
following you. Yeah.
symbiotic.
Big penguin.
The
Because that would explain why you've never seen them apart. Is they just created a symbiotic relationship in that terrifying big deep sea trench where
Yeah.
things tend to live.
I
And
mean,
get
if we think
real
about
messed
it,
up.
like
Yeah.
penguins vom up their like food for their kids. Why couldn't they do that
Yeah.
for a giant squid? If it's a real big
And you
penguin.
imagine that if they. Yeah.
My only thing is like we don't see these things surface for air a lot, and penguins do have to do that.
But if they had evolved to have a symbiotic relationship, you have to consider maybe the squid is being in charge of the lungs on this one. You know? Like somehow it's giving the air to the penguin that's been stuck inside of it, you know?
Maybe.
Like there's gotta be some way for this to shake out. Because they said it extended the beak, which would be like the penguin surfaces out of the octopus and like does the thing that it needs to do and then goes back inside. So maybe there's an air pocket inside of the octopus that the penguin's just chilling out in when it doesn't need to
Maybe.
like get the food, you know?
Maybe.
Maybe. So it's like partial
bird theory. You know, we got
halfway
there.
bird theory.
We
We had
did.
to fight real
I
hard, but we got
still-
there.
I want to know one more thing before we go. One more thing.
Yes. Absolutely.
What was the last ship that was eaten?
I would love to. 10 British warships, including the captured French ship of the line, Ville de Paris, which had mysteriously disappeared one night in 1872, had been attacked and sunk by the Krakens.
10? 10!
10.
And these aren't like regular ships. These are warships.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am curious. Maybe the British knew. Maybe they knew. And maybe they were going to fight this thing.
Because they had tea. I bet their tea vessels were
Exactly.
getting attacked. So the Kraken could get...
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll follow you through this.
And so the British went out. They were like, I'm done with these Krakens eating all our tea. First the Americans, now the Krakens. Come on, guys.
Forget the Americans. This is before the Americans. The Krakens had it first.
No, this is 18.
Or wait.
This is 18.
This is 1772. This is 1782. America would have been 1776.
Exactly.
So this would have been happening at the same
They were like-
time. Their tea is just getting
Yeah, they're like,
absolutely destroyed
look,
by a combination of the
The
Americans
Americans, they threw
and
all
the
our tea in the
Kraken.
harbor. What the fuck? First of all, stop that. That's a waste of good tea. Now the Krakens are taking it and they're eating it. Rude. And so they sent out a bunch of warships. They captured a French ship, as the British do, because they captured a bunch of ships and forced them into servitude. We know that. So then they were like, look, now we got 11 ships. We should be able to kill one big squid penguin. And they couldn't. They
couldn't.
underestimated it. They
Just-
thought it was just the one. Joke's on you, dude. It's a species.
Because, yeah,
We nailed it, Sid. We cracked
They
the
hunt
code.
in packs. They hunt and we crack into the code. We crack into the code. Because, like, so far, there was only, like, one found survivor. Everybody else just died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Or only one listed survivor that I could find.
I'd love to know his story.
I will.
But I think that is going to be
Terrifying.
all for us today. Yeah. This
Yeah.
was a really interesting episode, and if you want to follow up on it, you could join us on our Thursday stream from 8 to 10. We take all questions, all chants about Derek and his big orb.
Oh no. Thank you to those who tuned into last week's stream for Wizard
Derek
101.
cult.
I believe the VOD will be posted on some point if you guys are interested in Derek and his orb
I don't think
cult.
we have the VOD for that one, unfortunately. Yeah, but we will start doing VODs so you can kind of see what we've been up to. But it's always so great to have you guys there live. Shout out to Creamsicle Dream again for being in the chat and just going off on Derek and his big, massive orb. It's not an innuendo. It was Wizard 101. This guy had a big orb on his staff. But yeah, we stream
I believe
whatever game we feel like playing.
Yeah. I think this week we decided on
we're going to try and do like a survival world.
Survival world. Yeah. Just hang out. So, if you guys have any questions that you'd like to talk to us about the episode, this episode or previous ones, we'll take any and all questions. If you guys just want to hang out, we'd love to have you. Also, if you guys are interested in following up on us when we're not live or doing this, we do have a Twitter account, which is @OnCryptids. It's the Cryptids on Cryptids Twitter account. We tweet before we go live, we tweet before an episode goes up, and we tweet just at you guys, just to see what you guys are doing, what you'd like to see for future episodes. We really, really do appreciate you guys and all the support you've given us.
And we also have our Instagram. Our Instagram is Midpoint Podcast. It's MYD period like a dot and then podcasts, and so you can follow us there for updates when we upload our podcast and when that goes live. And we also have we share some art and stuff like that from both MetaZoo and stuff that we've done. So definitely come check out our Instagram, our Twitter. All that will be linked in the description below. And one other thing, just one more time I want to say, please go support MetaZoo. They are producing an incredible product, a really cool card game, and as a connoisseur of card games, I'm looking forward to this game being something that I can play too. Again, that link will be in our description, and their Kickstarter goes live July 30th.
Yeah. Please go support them, and thank you for your continued support. We love you guys, and we can't wait to see you on Thursday or whenever we see you next, and we'll see y'all in the woods.
And see, now we just edit it. It's cool.
Awesome.